Welcome back to the hen house. Today I'm going to answer a question I've been getting a lot. When should I expect my first egg from my baby chicks I've raised or hatched? Well, let's go ahead and start back at the beginning and talk about what these young chicks need to get them ready for laying, and when should I expect to see my first egg. Okay guys, so first on day one, when we either hatch our chicks or bring our chicks home, we want to make sure we are feeding them a good quality chick starter / grower. So what we're looking for, if your chicks have been vaccinated, they came from a reputable hatchery or a farm store, they do not need a medicated feed. Basically, your medicated feed is going to prevent coccidiosis in those chicks. So, if your chicks came from a local breeder or you've hatched them yourself, it's a good idea to give them a chick starter that is medicated. The medication is an amprolium. It is not an antibiotic, but it will help prevent against coccidia if those chicks happen to come across it. So, given that, you want to leave those baby chicks on a good chick starter, which is roughly an 18% protein. You want to leave them on that for the first 10 to 12 weeks. Gives them a good start, gets them the right nutrition, the calcium, and the vitamins that they need. After that, like with my chicks I hatched, I actually switched them to a grower. So it wasn't medicated. It was still a high protein feed. It was a 20% protein. It was called a flock raiser. It still had your high protein, had your high minerals, your vitamins, everything those chicks need to thrive, get the right nutrition, everything they need to grow and protect them against diseases. So given that, once my chicks reached about 14 to 15 weeks, because I had them mixed in with my older hens at that time, I actually switched those guys to a layer feed. So it was roughly right around almost 4 months. And we put them on a layer feed, which dropped it down to about a 16% protein. And it had the calcium that they need to get them ready for laying. Now, when you're looking for a layer feed, you want at least a 3% calcium in your laying feed that you're feeding to your layers. After talking about all the adequate feed and the feed changes, there are a few more environmental things that you can help encourage your chicks to actually feel comfortable and lay their first eggs. So first thing would be, you want to have a nice hen house. You want to have something that is somewhat darker and where predators cannot get in and scare them. You want it to be sanitary, because nobody likes to lay in a dirty bed or nest box that's been used before. So you want to keep clean nest boxes. You want good airflow. You want it safe from predators coming in, and you want it somewhat dark and quiet, just so those chickens can relax and actually feel safe while they're trying to lay their eggs. Given all that, you should start seeing your first eggs from your new chicks / hens that you raised right at about 16 to 18 weeks. And guys, no, you do not need a rooster for your hens to lay an egg. They just won't be fertile. Just so you know, I've gotten that question as well. I have actually gotten my first egg about probably 3 to 5 days before 4 months of age. And I will show you guys what those eggs look like. My hens are now probably they're reaching about 4.5 months old, and I'm starting to get more and more eggs from them young ones. So I am going to walk you guys into my hen house and show you in my nest box some of the eggs that my chickens have laid today. And you will notice I do have some older hens right now, so the egg comparison is gonna be quite a bit bigger from my younger hens, and I will show you that so you will see what you're gonna expect. And of course, as these young hens get older, the eggs will change in size. They will just continue to get bigger and bigger, and you will see that. Okay, Allie, let's go ahead and walk on in and do a sneak peek in our nest boxes. All right, you guys. So these are some of the eggs we got today. As you can tell, I'm going to point out, here is my younger ones that are just now starting to lay. And compared to the larger one, and I'll pull these out and put them in the daylight so you can see. So here's, as you can tell, so there's kind of a comparison. The one in the center is a younger hen. The other one is from my 2.5 to 3-year-old hens. Let's move on over to this one. Take a look. So you can see they are small, you guys, but like I said, in a couple more months, these guys are going to almost probably double in size. So they'll be about the size of the other eggs. As you can tell, we got some nice clean nest boxes. I do like to use fur shavings in my nest boxes. It smells good. I put a good layer in there so they're nice and fluffy. They are not dusty, and they are not cedar shavings, so I don't have to worry about respiratory or their skin getting irritated. Okay, I'm going to pull a few of these out so you guys can actually see them in the daylight. So as you guys can see, now that we're out in the daylight and out of the nest boxes, here's going to be the difference from your just starting hens. Like I said, these guys are 4.5 months old now, but they started laying about 3 days to 5 days prior to 4 months. So the eggs are tiny. Doesn't make them bad by any means. They're just as good, and they're just going to get bigger. So that kind of gives you guys an idea. If you're always wondering how big will they be, when will they lay, let's take one of these guys. There's quite a bit of size difference. This one actually is from one of my new hens as well. So it's already getting a little bit bigger. This was one of probably the first ones that started to lay. I hope you guys got some of your questions answered. I also forgot to mention the reason why the calcium is so important that your hens get. They actually need 4 grams of calcium a day to help build the eggshells in their body. The calcium promotes egg laying and helps get that strong shell. So a good way to know if your chicken is not getting enough calcium, when you go to pick your eggs up out of your nest box, a lot of times you'll be able to push your finger right through them. Even though you're gently touching them, the eggs will just crack in your hand. Or there won't even be a shell around the egg. It'll just be a squishy membrane. So just remember, guys, get a layer feed with at least a 3% calcium base. Mine is a 3.25. Plus, they get a lot of vegetables, and I actually throw out extra oyster shell that they just graze and will pick up and eat. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's any other questions, let me know. Maybe I'll do a video about them. I hope I can answer them for you. And thanks for watching, you guys. Have a good day.